the things that I love about teaching is that it makes you go back to the fundamentals. And so it's that core set of ideas or concepts or techniques that you learned as a young artist, or when you first started drawing, that build up to what you're doing now. And so that the more you repeat them, the more they just become second nature to you. And so I think that translates to working physically, in that, it's the efficiency of how you move around a page. Having a workflow like this allows me to just focus on what I'm doing so that I can stay in that moment, like you were talking about. It's so important to be able to turn around work at a certain rate, but it's also more important, especially as a colorist, is to be consistent in my work, so that I'm also helping tell that story. And any kind of change in the consistency of it, or the storytelling aspects of it, any change that I do that affects the story adversely, that's something that I want to cut out of my process. And so I think it's the work ethic plus the adherence to the fundamentals that really does help you be a very efficient artist, efficient worker. I think it translates to not just art, but if you're an athlete, it goes to that, right? And we all kind of have different skill sets that apply for what we do, and I think that can translate to any job that you're doing, or a hobby even. You can take that hobby into something professional by just pushing yourself to that next level. I'm always open to try things. I'm always open to okay, how will this be better? Will this be worse? But I'm always willing to try it, because if it's gonna help me, then I definitely want it, right? And so as much as I said, watch yourself, program everything, muscle memory, always keep that little door open. Oh, wait, what do you mean you have a pen that has 3 buttons? And the joke became like, well, what the heck am I going to put on that button? A very important button. The process in my head kind of went through again. It's like, okay, because I can program, this into the button, and that means that I have an opening on the EK remote, and I can program that and so you kind of get excited about it, because you're like, oh, I just added an extra, I just cut out another micro moment out of my work. Always on the lookout for stuff like that. And I'll Google things like that. What's the keyboard shortcut for this or for that? Someone in the chat is mentioning actions. I have rows and rows of actions that Photoshop will just immediately take me from one thing to the other. And finish it. So when I finish a page, I have to trap it, and that's a printing term that means that the color gets pinched onto the black, so that if the plate in old school plate printers, if that black plate shifts, if you have a little bit of color pinched underneath it, you won't see a halo. On these old comic books, you used to see these little halos of color every now and then, and that's because the pages weren't trapped, because that wasn't something that could be done back then. And so Photoshop, being the program that it is, has some, we wrote a set of actions that allows us to pinch that color and trap it. Gives you a nice, rich, consistent black throughout too.